Pakistan, like many other developing countries, is urbanizing fast. The federal and provincial governments are now planning to plan cities through preparation of urban master plans. According to a news item, the government of Punjab has decided to prepare master plan for every city, which is the city headquarters. Traditionally, master plans have not been a great success. There are a number of reasons for that, but without going to without going into those details, the fact remains that traditional approaches to solve urban problems have not worked and hence need to be revisited. We have to think and focus on strategies like urban resilience, inclusiveness, sustainability, and spatial justice. These should now become part and parcel of every master plan. I will attempt to elaborate these in a series of future videos, but today let's focus on urban resilience. Resilient cities are those that are able to maintain and improve the core functions before, during, and after exposure to shocks and stresses. Urban resilience is a city's ability to withstand some sort of disturbances. This disturbance can be environmental, such as flooding, or social, such as war or terrorism, or economic, such as industrial collapse. Clearly, some cities are more able to withstand disturbances. This depends, among other things, on local context. For example, cities that are more able to withstand the impacts of climate change are ones that are better prepared, better equipped, and better organized. Before proceeding further, I want to emphasize that we should not adopt urban development models from other countries. Each city is different, their backgrounds are different, context is different, and hence the solutions also need to be different and city specific. Let's take the example of the current trend of smart cities. For advanced countries, smart cities means making use of new high-tech solutions. How relevant is this for most of our cities where basic services are either lacking or are not fairly distributed? We in Pakistan need to find our own meaning of city smartness. Again, take the example of Bangkok. People there were used to live with nature. They built their city and organized their lives around canals. This had been going on for centuries. From the 1960s, the city began to adopt American model and they tried to control natural systems. Ancient canals were filled up to make ways for highways and urbanization. Flooding was always a problem there, but this made the regular flooding even worse. And the city, particularly the poorest communities, were worst hit. Now, it's not that learning from other countries is a bad idea, but we need to take care about how to how can we capture lessons from other places and how we can use examples of urban development in our own cities. What works well in one city may cause problems somewhere else. Coming back to urban resilience, this concept has so far been related mainly to climate change and disaster management. But the concept needs to be broadened to include wider challenges such as unsustainable urban development patterns, increasing social inequalities, in cities. Resilience is opposite of vulnerability. A more resilient city is less vulnerable, and so obviously a more vulnerable city is less resilient. But this is oversimplification of the concept. Often, when we use the term resilience, we generally think about engineering resilience, which bounces back quickly to business as usual after another disturbance. So, urban resilience should not only be thought in context of environmental disasters alone. It needs to be applied to wider challenges such as built environment, the resilience of urban infrastructure and services, urban metabolism, that is efficient and sustainable consumption of resources, and the quality of life, that is increased social cohesion and equitable distribution of resources. The ability of a city to evolve and respond depends on large number of factors, such as the states of its economy, the quality of governance, its affluence, the condition of its infrastructure, to name a few. At the same time, the key to urban resilience is the involvement and contribution of public as well as private sectors such as businesses, NGOs, and also citizens. What should be the role of urban planning in promoting urban resilience? The future is never certain or predictable. So, urban planning is never able to completely anticipate all possible future developments or mitigate all the negative impacts that might arise. For this reason, urban planning alone has to be adaptive and responsive to future challenges. This calls for periodic updating of master plans in light of changed circumstances. Looking at this from perspective of environmental factors and climate change, this means that urban planning has a key role in addressing and mitigating the city's contribution to disasters by, for example, promoting low carbon transport systems or providing more green spaces to absorb greenhouse gas emissions. In addition, it needs to be recognized that some future effects of climate change are almost inevitable, regardless of how much effort we devote to mitigating the causes. For this reason, it is also crucial that urban planning not only acts to mitigate the causes of environmental disasters and climate change, but also develops adaptation measures which reduce the vulnerability of the city to the effects such as extreme weather conditions. Thinking about how to incorporate urban resilience into urban planning poses a key challenge for the future of our cities. Mostly, resilience tends to focus on environmental aspects, as I said before, and it also has other dimensions and challenges, especially in a country like ours. Most of our secondary and smaller cities have high level of informality, such as in sectors like housing and commerce, which are organized in an informal way by the people. So, how can urban planning increase resilience in areas that are so informal? One way out of this puzzle is to transform vulnerabilities into opportunities. For example, it would be possible to use the strong social connections already present in an informal urban context to create self-organized network to respond to future unknown shocks. Also, the creation of institutions can improve communication and consequently promote a quicker response to a shock. So resilience is also about building social connections. What about the cities where the government is extremely strong and controls every urban activity? Is it possible to be resilient depending only on one centralized entity? Should not we empower the local population so that they can better react to any kind of shock that the future may bring? It's important to remember that a resilient system needs to work on the government level, but the system has to continue to work even if the government fails. So, bottom up and self organizing initiatives could be an interesting solution to make urban systems more resilient. Another issue is that relevant to our cities is about financial constraints. How is it possible to apply resilience thinking in cash-starved cities? This is a complex issue. In such cities, initiatives need to be more creative and better usage of available resources. Being resilient doesn't mean the survival of urban systems only. Cities in very hazardous conditions, without garbage collection, inadequate or absent sanitation, without efficient public transport solutions, for example, can adapt and continue to function. But this does not necessarily mean that they are also resilient. Resilience demands more than being adaptive. It also requires self-organization and transformability. Thus, resilience is a combination of adaptive capacity, self-organization, and transformation in social, economic, and environmental dimensions. In other words, resilience means much more than simple continuation of a risky condition. A comprehensive understanding of resilience can be the key for a better urban development of our city. Many of us know about the main challenges that our cities face related to resilience. It could be about flood resilience or earthquake resilience, or it may be related to any kind of environmental shocks. We also need to focus on social and economic resilience of our cities. Resilience is a broad concept. It's important to think about the methods on how to address it. Thank you.